What's up, Peep Squad? Peep Squad is in the building, baby. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It'll be greatly appreciated from the bottom of my heart. My peeps, my peoples. Peep Squad is in the building. Let's get down to the situation where Real Housewives of Atlanta is going down because Kandi Burruss is calling out Latoya. She's calling out Latoya on her ish. But I thought anything that happened in the dungeon is supposed to stay in the dungeon, Kandi. So Kandi ain't seeing it that way while Latoya is in front of her face telling stories and telling lies. So when it comes to Kandi Burruss, she's like basically looking at Latoya like, girl, you are lying about your whole situation. Yes, you was out there making out with Bolo. Don't act like you wasn't with Bolo, the lead house, husband, or the house, dancer, or the house stripper. Don't even go there. And so Latoya basically is trying to say that she didn't, really engage in any activities with Bolo that was worse than Drew. And she also is saying that, Sidora is a married woman and she got a husband, and, she's been coming after my marriage and coming after my relationship, but yet she was getting it in with Bolo on top of that coffee table, getting it in. And also, when it comes to Latoya, she's basically saying that Sidora was doing way more, and she's a married woman and she has these obligations. And Sidora, Porsha, and Shamea was like, how can Drew come? How can Latoya come for Drew? And she's married too as well, so she can't point the finger because she's a married woman too. Even though we know Drew is getting a divorce, but in any event, Latoya was basically coming after Drew and saying that she was doing the most when it came to Bolo, and she was on that coffee table and she was getting in that action, and she got a husband and she can't judge anybody else's relationship. Kandi Burruss was not on the coffee table with the stripper, humping the stripper, and Cynthia Bailey wasn't humping the stripper. Kenya Moore wasn't humping the stripper. And basically, Latoya is saying that Sidora was humping the stripper, baby. And then Kandi Burruss was like, girl, you was on that table with that man too as well. You was on the table with Bolo too. So Kandi Burruss is basically calling out, Latoya, because Latoya sitting there lying in front of her face like she wasn't there, like she wasn't sober. So it seems like Kandi Burruss is talking about what went on in the dungeon. And so she was like, yes, you did kiss, you did kiss, basically Sidora. You did kiss Sidora, Latoya. And she's also saying, girl, you was on that table with him too as well. You was getting it in. You might not have been doing the same thing that Sidora was doing, Latoya, but you was on that table with Bolo. So you can't, you live in a glass house, girl. You cannot throw no rocks, no bricks or cinder blocks or none of that. And so Kandi's feeling that type of way. Kandi was like, girl, you was on that coffee table too. What are you talking about? I was like, Lord have mercy. Kandi is basically spilling the beans. And also, Kandi feels like Sidora and, Latoya forever was cuddling and everything and of that nature. And so she's basically saying, girl, what's going on between you and Sidora? You guys were cuddled up. You was cuddled up in a corner, on the side, and it looked like you guys were, making out. It looks like I could have sworn that you guys were kissing. And then, Latoya, she jumped in and was like, no, we wasn't. No, I wasn't. And then she turned around and said, oh, yes, I was doing it. Oh, yes, I was. She was like, but, Latoya is basically saying that Sidora had her arms wrapped around her, and Kandi Burruss was like, girl, both of you guys had your arms wrapped around each other. And so then Latoya basically breaks down and tell the truth and say, hey, listen, yes, I was hugging her, she was hugging me, and we was talking in the corner. I was talking about my problems, I was talking about my marriage and my situation, and we was just sharing words. And Latoya was like, I'm not attracted to Sidora, point blank, period. She ain't my type, and all of that situation, because she was doing the most, because she got caught out there. So Kandi, if you're wondering why Latoya forever ghosts you, it's because you are pulling her cord and letting people know that she was making out with Sidora, supposed to be her arch enemy. And so Latoya basically saying there was no action going on. I'm not attracted to her. It wasn't nothing physical or anything else like that. I was just sharing emotions with her and talking. I was like at a bachelorette party, yeah. But Sidora did say this on Watch What Happens Live that she thought that she had a moment with Latoya because they was talking and they was talking about each other's marriage and their relationships and things of that nature. So she thought they was cool, but Sidora said she was wrong, and she recently said this last Sunday on Watch What Happens Live. So in any event, so Drew was basically saying I was close to her, we were talking, but Kandi Burruss basically saying you guys were doing more than talking. She saw some kissing going on. And then we have Miss Kenya Moore. She jumps up into the mix, and Kenya Moore is basically saying that Sidora and Latoya forever got this kind of like weird relationship. It's kind of awkward. It's kind of weird, the situation they got going on. Because one minute they fighting, and the next minute they are all cuddled up and they're kissing and the whole nine. So their relationship is kind of crazy and weird. Basically, Kenya Moore is saying that Sidora and Latoya forever was making out, and Latoya tried to deny it. Now she's owning up to it, but I don't believe Sidora said that she kissed Latoya forever. So basically, Kandi and Miss Kenya Moore are spilling the beans. Kenya Moore's been spilling the beans, so it is what it is with that situation. And Kandi was like, basically, girl, I saw you all up on the situation. Kandi Burruss is like, girl, you can't sit here and lie to me about the situation. And then we have Shamea, and Shamea is feeling a certain type of way about the situation too as well, that Drew is calling out people, not Drew, but Latoya is calling out people while she is married, and she was messing with, Bolo and Porsha, and allegedly Drew, but Shamea didn't say Drew. And in any event, they're saying that Latoya forever is married. And then we get to the situation where Sidora basically said Latoya was kissing the toilet, and basically she was helping Latoya because Latoya threw up in the toilet. And then so Drew was like, I believe her tongue was licking the toilet, and Porsha said, don't tell me her tongue was licking the toilet. She kissed me down there. I was like, what? She kissed you down there? I don't know if Porsha Williams had a slip of the tongue, but that is when Shamea jumped in, and Shamea was like, girl, Shamea was looking at Porsha like, Shamea jumped in, was like, what you mean, Porsha? She kissed you down there. That's no way that happened. What are you talking about? And then Porsha jumped back in the situation and was basically saying that, oh, I meant to say, I hope she wasn't tongue kissing the toilet down there, and she kissed me on my lips. Oh, no, she did not go down on me. No way, no how. So you guys let me know what you think about that situation. And also, Latoya forever says that, let's see what Sidora husband thinks about them two allegedly kissing, because they kissed. It is what it is. Kenya Moore and Kandi Burruss both basically said that they were kissing, and then Latoya basically saying we was cuddled up in the corner just talking to each other. It wasn't nothing sexual, but Kandi said I could have sworn you guys was kissing. So you guys let me know what you think about this situation. Lord have mercy, it's going down. Nothing in the dungeon is staying in the dungeon, and the headmistress is making sure it don't stay in the dungeon. So you guys let me know what you think. Do you think Sidora and Latoya kissed and made out? I believe so.